All right, all right. Okay, welcome everyone. This is let me get this right. I'm here, Guillaume. Rosie could not make it today. She had a weird allergic reaction, but this is Stop Losing, Start Trading, the weekly trading show we're doing here with the team at Panoptic to go over the markets, go over the trades that Rosalie and I communicate with to the intern, and also discuss the general state of the markets. Today, I'm joined with Brendan, which you may have seen, of course, from the options hours on Wednesday and also the Friday shows with the best and worst trades. How are you doing today, Brennan?
I'm doing well. Yeah, got to see the team in Boston, so it's good to meet up. We're one of the few crypto teams out east in Boston, but great
Yeah,
city, lots of fun.
that's right. So we the whole team. It was a busy few weeks for a lot of the team members, but we had permissionless in New York. The week after was Cannes and ACC, and then internally we had our company retreat this past week. Glad to see Brendan made it to Boston, but also again everyone from the team. And then we survived. Unfortunately, Rosalie had some weird reaction. But was it your first time in Boston, Brendan?
No, I've been a couple of times, but first time at a Red Sox game, and it was great because
The Red Sox won that game, which was great. We had Brendan from the researching that's never seen a live game, but also Amy Caldo, Amy from France. So for her, Red Sox was and baseball was totally new and unexpected. I was kind of the commenter on Brendan and Amy's as well. I think Brendan's trying to join back, but this was great. Yeah, great game at the Red Sox. They've won in a I think turnaround on the eighth, so this was great. But yeah, did you like the food at Fenway Park? Brendan, what was the most memorable thing about
yes, we
baseball?
got a nice. I think the most memorable thing was the baseball. So Guillaume caught a baseball, and that was special.
Yes, I think it was a ball where, like, when the like it's off play and then the ball just rolls. There was a young girl there that was throwing it to kids. For some reason, she threw it in my general direction. I was able to grab it. Give it. I give it to my son. He's gonna play with it till it's all wet and useless. But yes, this was great. Yeah, got a ball. We got a good time. Hot Fenway Park hot dog. You want to do this at least once in your life. But yes, nothing that again. This was great. We had some baseball. We also had people in my place. Great to see the whole thing, the whole team. And yeah, this was few weeks that we're extremely busy now. We're slowly getting back to it. We've missed a few shows last week. Apologies for those that wanted to see it. This week is definitely a good place to start again because the markets are ripping. We have the as the title of the show is Bitcoin going the all-time highs. Something that again we've seen quite a bit with Bitcoin, not as much with ETH, but also is being pumping. Uh, we did hit what was the highest, 123 ish thousand per Bitcoin. Fantastic run up. Again, something is pushing and brewing maybe in background where Bitcoin is hitting all-time highs in these kind of extremely sudden moves. So I don't know how this works on the like either MicroStrategy or we have the different treasury companies on ETH. I don't know if this is what pushes the price up in these sudden moves where they have to buy by a certain time or it's just a whale buying, but we've seen these extremely staircase way of price action. Yeah. Do you know how these treasury companies work? Which I don't know if that's what's driving the price up, but it's
Oh,
been
I would think they would be selling if they're rebalancing, but I don't know about MicroStrategy. Maybe they buy. I thought they like to buy dips, so I don't know.
I mean, I
I'm
think
not
people
sure.
look and they actually they have a contractual obligation to buy by a certain date, and they don't time it super well. It's like okay, effective price. I wouldn't be surprised if they bought at an effective price of like 122 or something. Uh, we have SBET. I don't know what the other thing is, but yeah, on ETH there's also a few of these. But yeah, very very The whole market is pumping. Definitely some tailwinds on the regulation side, but yeah, ETH has been pretty well served again. 20% up in a month. On top of that, other 40% for the past 3 months. So definitely something where it feels nice to be back at 3K. Um, yes. Did you? Don't want to put anyone on the spot, but some of our team members said 3K. We haven't seen this in such a long time. Let me sell some ETH. Wait, did you secure some profits, Brendan? No, you were mostly on the.
No, I haven't been securing profits since I bought it. I'm all in. But
Exactly.
yeah, it's unfortunate that we still haven't hit the all time high for ETH. We're still down. I think it was 4,000 or something back back a while ago. But Bitcoin is ripping its own all time highs.
Exactly, and then this is now very active. A lot of the people were trading options. I want to show one actually on Panoptic, one trade that kind of we flagged internally, but uh, this is one of the trades that are quite profitable when you buy options. This is a leverage bet, and when the option kind of cooperates and moves in the direction that you want, which is what happens here, where this user bought an option which was out of range. So basically, they had no fee to pay, and the price was 27.80, and when they closed, it was 29.60. So this is one of the trades that is almost too good to be true. But in Panoptic, if someone is not managing their liquidity well, you can buy this option, get a free perp. They paid zero streamia. They got a 66 return in a few hours. In that case, they timed it pretty well. They could have held for a few more days, but you never know. So again, 66% return, $300 return in a single move. Quite attractive there on a trade. Yeah,
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so basically a 10x leverage perp, zero funding rate, which they would have known in advance, and yeah, that's better than any perp I've seen.
yeah. Sometimes you have the perps being.
Got a surprise visitor.
Did you see my son? Yes, hears me through the window. He wants to be a superstar of the options trading world. Told him go back eat lunch. Yes, perfect perps. Typically, they have a positive funding rate. Here, it's a zero funding rate. So even going short or long, you don't pay anything. This is good. So again, this is one of the trades that we can see the best trades. We have this fancy way of also looking at the trades here, but something to definitely brag about. But that is one of the trades that seem to have been going well. We can go to the star of the show, which is the intern. Uh, they are up definitely on the week. They have multiple positions. Sorry, multiple positions in multiple markets. Um, Currently, what we see is that most of them are positive. We have a tiny loss, but I don't know if you were following, but the markets. But here, given this, Brendan, if you see all of these markets for the intern, is there one that attracts your attention that you want to look at, or how do you see? Yeah, how would you manage this six market portfolio?
Ooh, let's take a look here. Well, it has been a while since I've looked at this, so let's see. We're in the wrap Bitcoin market. There's another market called Bitcoin that is not Bitcoin, but is Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, I knew 10. We have some ETH options. This is interesting to me. Sol options. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
I didn't know we had that on Ethereum, and we've got eigen and another Bitcoin.
let's look at the Sol
Very
option.
curious about Sol. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the ratio again. We're the only place where you can trade the ratio. It's a fairly healthy Uniswap pool, so we can use this quite well. And yeah, this is a straddle that we sold a few days ago, 23 days ago. It's worked in a sense because it's been in range the whole time. Unfortunately, the price has gone down, but we're collecting some Sol, collecting some ETH, and we're not quite there yet. So not out of range, still in range. So given what you know about this, like again, let's have you take over the intern. Does that worry you as a holder? What would you do if you had this position in front of you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it looks like we didn't start completely delta neutral. Is am I looking at that right? At the price at mint 0.058,
Yes.
started at kind of a higher delta, and yeah, so we've gone further in the money. And we're still in range, so we're still collecting that Sol and ETH fees. So I guess what way is this ratio pointed? Are we thinking that Sol's, because we want the price to return back to the kind of the middle
Yeah.
point, where it's more flat? Is
We're
that which
trading
way
the
is this
ratio.
pointed?
Yeah, we're trading the ratio, which is a weird thing to wrap their mind around. But this is the ETH soul, the soul, the price of soul in terms of ETH. So what you can see is that the how much soul you get if you were to sell one ETH. We wanted it to go up, meaning that we want soul to overperform a little bit. And if it overperforms and increases while ETH doesn't increase as quickly, you have this kind of upside that exists. Now it seems that ETH has overperformed Sol. But the ratio, again, the ratio when we set up seemed to be on the way down. And typically I'm a sucker for like contrarian bets, which is, hey, it seems to be going down. Maybe it's going to revert, but it seemed to have gone down even more. So this is kind of the setup was capitalizing on a return, but it went down still. But yeah,
Very interesting. Can you zoom out a bit on the price chart? Does it show us a bit further out?
yeah, we can do the daily. I think which shows. So it's been sideways, up and down. Uh, Sol has overperformed. This is why you see these kind of peaks. Now it seemed to be near the lowest lows. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I wouldn't be too worried then, given it seems like it might return back. ETH has pumped quite well. It looks like 8% in the last 5 days or so, whereas Sol has not pumped as well. Actually, it has pumped about the same.
oh, that's right.
But
So ratio
yeah,
wise, both of them increased, but it's a again. If you look at the ratio, I'm also not worried. This is basically the all-time low over the past year ish. And I would also be predicting a reversal, even though we like ETH. Again, Sol could have a lot of things working for them as well. Again, could be the pump or anything. So I'm also kind of not worried. It could still go down a little bit more and be now really the all-time low over the year, but still has time to go. So as long as we're in range, again, the this position doesn't worry me much because we're bullish, and I would say we could still be bullish and have a way to still collect funds. So yeah,
yeah, I mean, not financial advice. Nothing to say here is financial advice. So do your own research. But
yes,
it's very interesting trading the ratio here, because the Sol ETH ratio is much more, has a much more historical kind of range. Whereas something just trading the ETH USD price, uh, sometimes once it goes past $800, it might never come back. I think so. So there's a good chance, and maybe it doesn't come back, but there's a good chance the Sol price does rebound compared to the ETH price, and so this straddle that you have set up here is a great way to capitalize on that prediction.
exactly. And a lot of what we see is that the pairs trade is they have some mean reversion to them. Again, the Bitcoin has been on a tear, but it pulls all the other assets at the same time. So you have some boundedness to it. In that case, Sol is pretty well established. There's a lot of users ETH as well, so you would expect none of them to go to zero, or if it rips or go up, none of them will kind of overperform too much. So yes, a lot of these pairs trade, you see them a lot in could be currencies, could be short, I don't know, short the Nasdaq, long S&P. Like typically, these type of trades have some value or use cases in TradFi, and this is kind of what we see. Um, Maybe we can look at one. All right, before the ticker Bitcoin is another one that I want to highlight, not because I'm bullish or not, but it's because it's a interesting trade, which is ticker Bitcoin. This one has been open for quite a long time, and we were lucky in a way. But this is one thing that I want to highlight, which is even the ticker Bitcoin ETH, they have some range boundedness to them. In that case, we've stayed in range the whole time. We've earned fees the whole time, but because both prices went up or down, kind of in a range, we're still kind of collecting fees, and that is perhaps the best case scenario because we're delta neutral, but we've collected so much fees that even if we're to leave the range, we're still quite a bit in profit, and the break even points now are quite wide. It has to go up almost like 2x up or 2x down before we start losing. So this is one where we could keep going and still collect fees. This is a high volatile asset, and sleep well at night, because if we're wrong and it does move suddenly in either direction, we still have some room to play for management. I don't know if you've LP'd yourself in volatile pairs, but yeah, were you able to kind of get to a point where you said, all right, my fees are so large, I can wait? Or how would you deal with uh, what seemed to be a winning position during it, well, if you're an LP?
Yeah, I mean, well, on this one specifically, we have a nice cushion, so I like to see a lot of that green. It's nice. Um, so yeah, I would take more risks, basically because I have so much in the green here personally. That's kind of how I would approach this. Kind of double down on my gains. Made 0.018 ETH. That's nice, and maybe I'll lose 0.018 ETH if it goes out. But I kind of want more. That's not enough for me. So I would leave this position. And it seems like even though the Bitcoin's volatile, how's the Bitcoin ETH
Yeah.
ratio though?
So yeah, we can look at the price, and it's been up and down, but it's been kind of maybe on the down one trend. It's been range bound over the past few months, 6 months maybe. Uh, what we see here is a pure volatility play. So let's have a look at the volatility of this asset, because I think yes, it's still quite high. Remember, we have ETH, USDC, which is some level of like stability. The IV is between 60 and 80%. ETH Bitcoin. Now it's ETH as the if you want the quote asset. Even then, with that ETH Bitcoin being quite correlated, the IV is 90%. So I would think that the ticker Bitcoin is probably 150 to 100% IV perhaps. There's always a cut that you get because ETH also moves, but this is extremely juicy. And the percentile, it's not even the higher end of its range. So someone that is trading options, 90% is even more volatile than Tesla, or it's like one of even Circle was 130% for a while. So the volatility you get from ticker Bitcoin using ETH as the quote asset is quite high, quite high. So maybe lots of risk, but if you are lucky, you can stay in range for a long time and get, I mean, juicy returns, I guess, at the end of the day. Um, yes, 90% IV in any market is quite high. So this is quite. I mean, most meme coins are like that, but yeah, quite unusual for the markets that we trade.
Yeah, that's very high. And you have a metric there called log IV rank,
Oh yes.
as well as the IV percentile. Yeah, what is the log IV rank there?
So we are playing a little bit with these values. IV percentile is kind of over the past year, I believe. How are you in terms of the median and kind of the different percentiles? So this is going from 0 to 100. This is maybe more common. People are used to use percentile, and it's kind of one signal, meaning that 22 it's quite low compared to itself. You want to compare the IV compared to itself here. 22 is quite low. We show log IV rank. If you use Tasty Live or Tasty Trade, they use IV rank. Because crypto is so volatile and jumpy, we have to we had to adjust this a little bit. So log IV rank is if you take the log of this IV, how are you in the grand scheme of things for the past year? If the lowest of the low was some value and the highest is some value, what are you kind of in this linear scale? It's a little bit different than percentile. It's just kind of how you scale yourself. And 50% or above, meaning that you have a quite high IV compared to yourself, is what I would use as a signal for trading. And 50% or below is kind of on the lower end. So here we got, even though it seems to be quite high, both IV percentile and IV rank indicate that 90% is quite low. And then if you were to trade, maybe you buy options as opposed to sell, because you're kind of above below that threshold of perhaps 50% price percentile or 50 IV rank. Um, it's good to have high IV, but it's relationship to itself that's quite important. So yes, this is a high IV but low rank, meaning that yeah, maybe buying options will be a net positive for you in the long term.
Okay, so normally we see triple digit IVs, I guess, for this pair. But
Yeah, yes. Maybe we should add the IV history here as one of the tabs here, but yes,
I would love that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's right. Price and IV could be something we show where there's always correlations. Actually, since we're at it, let's quickly look at Bitcoin, ETH, IV, and I think this is, I know this is 52%. I also think this is going to be lowish on the scale, 52%. Um, One thing that is very, very, very common in equities is that sudden increase in price decrease the IV. So we had these research pieces by Nathan where you have a negative volatility equity or spot vol correlation. This is maybe what we see. We've seen a huge increase in price. Everyone is maybe bullish, but at least that there's less fear in the system. So you have what looks like to be low IV rank or low IV percentile. So it's a large increase, repression of the IV. If there's a dip, there might be an increase or explosion of the IV. So this is a little bit more in line with what you see with equities. Bitcoin also has this negative spot vol correlation. ETH is almost, yeah, most of the time also similar to Bitcoin, but sometimes it's a reversal. So yeah, if you have commodities like oil, natural gas, or corn, it's typically positively correlated. You have an increase in price of oil. Now you are worried, and now you are kind of trying to scramble to find a way to make money. If the price goes down, you just, okay, I'm going to buy more and not worry too much because oil is cheap. So this is kind of what we see. But yeah, sudden price moves in this case seem to have repressed the IV in both ticker Bitcoin, but also ETH, USDC as well.
Sweet. So yeah, so we're seeing some nice calm markets, I guess, after the price rally.
Yeah, I'd say
So the
again
intern,
that one,
yeah,
yeah, that one question, sorry, that was call buying was contributing to that. I mean, it was not even affecting the price because it was high, but yeah, a lot of folks are buying calls. Actually, yeah, lots of folks buying calls. Let's intern also is buying calls as well, or at least a long perp. This is how they make money in that market. But yeah, this is also a good. This is back to the options market. This is two positions that intern has. This one is one I want to highlight as well. Whereas a long time ago, 28 days ago, we bought this long perp. This was meant to be a positive funding rate perp by buying a wide option, selling a narrow one. It went all over the place, it seemed, but now we're definitely in the profit zone. We're paying a bit of premium, but that's fine because we're kind of earning quite a bit more on the price move. This is not unlike the call option that we saw, but here because it was in range, we're getting paid on this narrow put and paying less overall on this wide call, and we still have kind of a positive spread because the both of them are in range. Yes, exactly. But this is also another strategy. You have a synthetic long perp that pays you, uh, which is probably not something you see often, also, especially in this market in perps.
well, it looks like this trade has done pretty well. 51%. We're also near the boundary point, kind of where the sold option will stop earning additional premium. And so, is this something that you would close once it kind of reaches that 3,053 price, or are you looking to keep it open?
Yeah, I would probably close it. Again, the way it's structured, you would probably want to close when it hits the higher boundary, which is like 3,053. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so in that case, I would close it when it hits. This is positive funding, but if I look at this history, I think we used to pay a lot more on this leg. We're lucky that the price moved, but yeah, now we're in positive funding territory. But someone probably bought like 1.52x ish multiplier. So I would say that this is probably one of those where I would keep it in if there's another sudden price move, 5% in a day, that would push us way into this region. But now because of the price position, I would close it. So yeah, this seems to be a fairly kind of a trade that is working for us because we're in the positive funding. I would keep it, but keep an eye if there's a sudden move to close or if there's a reversal, maybe secure some profits. The new break-even point is now 2,700. Do you think we'll revisit 2,700 in a week, Brendan?
50-50 chance.
I know. But yeah, so I would keep this. Maybe Wednesday we'll like look at it with Rosalie. But this is a great trade, worked for us. For a while, it was not working for us, but then keeping the faith, we got paid the whole way. We were able to come back.
Yeah, this looks like a great trade. Pretty small position, but as far as practicing these option tactics, this is great. If you close it now, I'd be really happy with that. But we can see what happens Wednesday. Let the
Yes,
intern decide.
exactly. And again, $73, 51% profit in a month, which is great. This is great. Again, 50% in a month. I would take this every month of the year. Uh, all right. So again, we had a look at the interest portfolio. Let's have a quick look at the Bitcoin pool. Again, I want to. The title was like, how can we milk this Bitcoin all time high? And maybe Brendan, you may be the one that is kind of guiding intern. Uh, if we were to go on the ETH USDC pool here, uh, what is your feeling? How do you feel about the Bitcoin market? We've seen a lot of price action, and again, let's go here. Lots of price action over the past day ish. The price has gone up to what is an all-time high. How do you feel about the market? Would you keep being bullish, a bit more on the neutral side, or bearish? If I were to ask you about the price of Bitcoin.
Yeah. So again, nothing we say here is financial advice. Do your own research. But on a longer time scale, I'm always afraid to short any of the majors, be it Bitcoin or ETH or Sol. So here, I think we can match up kind of our expiries to be a longer time scale, kind of betting on the continued trend, the momentum. I think there's so many tailwinds, lots of good things coming regulatory wise for the industry, and really opening up to key players, the ones who want to follow MicroStrategy, and so lots of upward price pressure. Of course, we did just hit another all-time high, 122K, and then we see it dip immediately back down to 119 within an hour or so. So obviously, there's going to be corrections along the way, but we're betting on the longer term. Let's say the monthly scales. Personally, I'm more of a bullish contender there.
Yes. So bullish monthly scale. This is you speedrunning through the question. So yes, that's also easy to choose. You have a time scale here. Would you say yearly is a timeline you're comfortable with, or this is too far off?
Yearly, I prefer to just hold spot, but yeah. So monthly is more of the
Okay.
timeline to have in mind here.
So bullish trades, I would say that since we're selling options again, this is where I would also put you. You could sell a put option, and that kind of type of trade is very good for betting on price appreciation. And depending on how aggressive we want to be, we may have a price target in mind. But that would be where having a put option being sold allows you to collect fees on the price volatility, and that also means that as the price moves up, you do have a target in mind, but you do earn fees as for fees and also price appreciation. So maybe would you be your target price over the next week, next month? I'm sorry, on the price of Bitcoin.
Oh, let's see. Well, we've already hit all-time high, broke it, making new all-time highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we continued on making some new all-time highs up to, some round
150,
number of
150K.
130K or so. No, yeah, I'm thinking closer to like 130K by end of month. Let's say that's 2 weeks from now. But yeah, pulling out numbers from my butt. So
All
take it
right.
with a grain of salt if you're watching this. But I'm
I mean,
definitely leaning bullish.
all right. So 100. So again, you can choose. I would say that the best way forward is to look at the delta of this position and also the price, which is kind of, if your target is 130, you want the range to be above this for sure. So we can choose the top range around 143, I'd say 44, and we have a 36 delta, which is healthy. It means that your the chance that you're wrong is 36%. So you're putting the odds in your favor more than 50%, which is in that case about 55%, 65% chance of being right. And yes, if you hit that 130K, you're in that flat part where you're going to be earning a lot of fees, and not have a lot of risks. And yeah, I would say that setting a put option with a 36 delta would realize that assumption of yours, and maybe that's what intern will do as well. But yeah,
Yeah, I
this
like
is
this kind of 50 delta range approximately, just because I'm half confident only, not fully confident. Could you turn on the liquidity like toggle where we can see the other contracts, or
oh
like
yes,
the yeah,
the
on the
options
top right
one.
on the settings?
Okay, yes,
Maybe we can do the more visual one. Oh, I guess okay, yeah, show liquidity.
I think it's there. There's not
So,
much.
oh, okay, yeah. So when you click it, it shows. So there's not a lot of other contracts being sold. I'm curious too, like buying options is intern did buy a couple options, but likes to sell a bit more. But it looks like they're relatively cheap just because
Yeah.
there's a lot of sold liquidity without being purchased.
So there's a little bit of sold option here. You could buy a call as well. I mean, the call is more explosive. It's more kind of hope that the price does move and you can make a lot of money, like the long prep we've seen. If the price is kind of if your target is the 130K, and we do estimate the fees that you would collect, but that is the most liquid option that's available, and the break even is about 130K. So given that you may have to pay over the next month some amount, that lowers the curve, and in somewhat way it does cross this around 130K. So
Let's
here
see.
you would be maybe expecting a higher price. If you're 150K, then yes, you can make a lot. So that's why I'm always cautious of buying options, because if you're wrong, you lose less, but then you're going to be wrong a lot more times. In that case, more than 50% chance of being wrong. So which is a different kind of 50% of being wrong because you pay as well. Your real break-even point is going to be like higher. So you need to have price moving in your direction and doing it in a way that is sudden so that you can capitalize on this. So it's a different type of trade, and I would say yes. In that case, might not be because there's less liquidity. You'll be kind of also eating at this VIG or multiplier. It might not be the best one to
I
do.
see. Yeah, if there's a bit more liquidity, I would bet on that premium ending up being cheaper than expected. But
Yeah,
given that there's 0.05 only,
we
perhaps we'll
haven't
be
seen
paying
this.
too much.
Yeah, we haven't seen this a lot, but a lot of people use call spreads as a way to kind of tap into this, where you buy an option, but then you secure your upside and get paid so that you'd pay less by creating a call spread. And this is going to be like a one delta ish position, very, very directional, almost pay nothing. It's like a perp, I guess, in some ways. That's another trade that could exist. So yeah, again, we haven't talked about buying call spreads. Yeah, would that be one trade that you think is a good trade off where there's less downside and the same upside than the short put, or you would stay with the short put?
This is very interesting, but I'm only 50% confident, so I prefer a 50 delta. So unless you can do like a 50 delta call spread somehow, I think I would stick with the put selling that we originally showed there.
Perfect. So yes, whichever way you want to do this, yes, do put selling. This is one trade. Uh, and yeah, like let's go. So again, if you're trading options and you want to sell options, you can do this on Panoptic, any scale you want, any size you want. This is a very bullish trade on Bitcoin. Part of it is directional, part of it is volatility. If you want to, you can also add another leg to kind of cap your upside, but again, getting more returns. But this is, as Brendan said, he's not comfortable shorting Bitcoin, so you be shorting here. Even if you're wide, there could still be a region where you lose. So that one trade, which is bullish, earning fees, is also a very, very good trade for an option seller. Um, but yeah, I think again, I do have another meeting I forget about in 5 minutes. Uh, I'll
Well,
have
then, real quickly, we'll just announce the competition's ongoing on Unichain. Is the ETH options market. So to participate, you just need to deposit $100 in ETH and USDC total. So do a little bit of both to make the trading experience go a bit better, like $50 in each. And yeah, the competition's live, and we've had it going for already a week. So we're a week in, and we still have a week left. So you can still join. It's not too late. We have prizes for the best trader, but also the worst trader. We got some special consolation prize that we'll share later on what that is for the worst trader. but it looks like somebody has lost $27 as the worst trader. Somebody has made $757 as the best trader,
Oh my god.
and the best overall P&L is almost 22%, which is outperforming the ETH price that went up about 9 or 8% in the last week. So doing
Yeah,
pretty well here.
I love this. Yeah, so we have a lot more stats. This is kind of everything is quite accessible. This is an extra account, a lot of volume. Maybe they're mining unique tokens as well. But yeah, this is actually great. Best trades. Again, best trade and worst trades. Unfortunately, the worst trade is not even that bad.
The best trade's doing a lot better than the worst trade's
No,
doing
so this
worse.
is
So,
bullishness is definitely how you could tap into this. 20%, 16%, 7% in a day, in a week. It's actually great. Again, knowing how to position yourself is also a good way to be good. If you don't get liquidated, you can have longevity. You can accumulate these gains. This is actually great. Uh,
yeah. And a couple of tips here. Make sure to read the competition rules on blog. It's panoptic.xyz/blog. It specifies what you have to do exactly to get on the leaderboard. So some of these categories you will need to close your position, so they won't register until you have closed it. Which means some people might have some really good trades that we might appear on the leaderboard after they close it. But make sure you close your position before the competition ends. So we'll warn you again in our following live streams. But we have cool prizes too for Streamia. So if you make a lot of Streamia or you pay a lot of Streamia, you are also going to be winning some nice USDC and points prizes.
yeah, this is paying again. Person is different, but yeah, this person probably bought a bunch of options. They've made a huge profit, $300, but then because they were, is it the five, the V3 or V4 pool that we're
I
doing?
believe this is the V4 pool that's also farming you the uni incentives at the same time.
There we go. So that account again, we can see from the StreamYard they paid a lot, but they made a lot, $300. This is kind of on the buy side what you want to see. So amazing. Look at
So
this. 3 more weeks, right? But yeah, this is something that
that's
yeah.
right. So, well, actually, yeah. So this is a shorter competition. So we got one more weekend. So make sure to join now. Don't wait. We got a lot of questions about uni incentives. We're still working on the redistribution program. So more details to be announced there. But don't worry if you're in the uni incentivized pools with that kind of uni symbol on our markets, you are earning some uni tokens along with your points and of course, your base yield. So stay tuned for more info on that. We will be providing more info on that as kind of the incentive programs comes closer to a wrap up. So we'll see how long Uniswap does incentives for, but stay tuned.
Amazing. Yeah, stay tuned. Great week of trading. Maybe next week will also be exciting for the traders, but yes, do participate. Lots of prizes, lots of cool stuff you can do. So that's great to see. And yeah, we'll try to do a graceful outro. No, this is not it. The research stream as well. Nathan will be presenting. Excited about this. Otherwise, have a good rest of the day and see you